Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Yupcast. We have a special guest here. And we got to kick off season 2, episode 1 today. So, bro, round of applause. Do we have the sound effects?
I can't remember. Oh, I did it.
Wow, see? Boom. He still got it.
Awesome. I'm kind of rusty, so bear with me.
We got the boy Izzy.
What's up, guys?
And we got Coach O. Why do we call you Coach O?
Coach O stands for, well, my first and my last name start with O's. My name is Osamuimen Osunde. Means God gives respect. And my last name means stars will never fall.
Wow.
So,
For sure. Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm called Coach because I am a basketball trainer and coach. I coach at Northgate High School in Walnut Creek. I'm a teacher at Stewart Elementary, a K through 8 school. I teach PE and math this year for 7th grade math, PE for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. I used to be an English and history teacher, and I kind of rather be that than a PE and math teacher.
For sure. Bro, we met when it was a Bible study, right? That's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
We connected. He's from one of our sister churches, or, friendly churches. How do you say that?
Yeah.
Local churches, Harvest Church.
We just one church.
We're all one church, one of our congregations in the area.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go.
And, we go Bible studies. We get into the Word. What is it, every Wednesday that we try.
Yeah.
But, we see, God moving in Coach O's life. I know some of the guys connected with you during our camp. And, I feel like, you're getting closer to us.
That's how I actually met Coach O at camp.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. I didn't make camp, but how was that experience connecting with the youth?
Camp was great. I thought it was really good. Had a lot of the girls from our youth group come in there.
Why that smirk?
They came in there. I'm not gonna say nothing. They didn't come in the best. I'll tell you that. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
But they left transformed, and it was just the power of Jesus. You could tell on
That's good.
on them.
Sure.
So it was really good.
I'm really looking forward to just your history. How?
Yeah, you told. I think you told us one time in the Bible study you lived in another county.
I am from the Central Valley.
Central Valley.
The part of everyone knows it as the part of when you're going down to LA, driving from here.
Close to Bakersfield? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So
kinda.
past
That-
the hill, like the big.
The part that smells like cow,
Oh.
like cow poop.
We all know that
that's
smell when you're hitting the road and it's like 2.5 hours in.
That's the valley.
And
That's
you
the valley.
I mean, you're starting to fall asleep. You're driving, right? Is that just me?
Nothing but farmland. But I love it. I love it.
That's good. That's good.
That's why I got the ticket, bro.
What ticket?
My speeding ticket.
Yeah.
I was trying to get past that smell, bro, and the cops saw me.
Oh, the cops over there, they have nothing better to do. There's nothing that happens there. So
They're just waiting for somebody.
they're
to
just
see
waiting
you.
for
They're
some
playing
action.
like I Spy, a speeder.
Exactly.
For real. I know, but tell us, how did you come to Christ? Is it something you grew up in? Is this something that
I was trying to prepare my testimony yesterday because it's just like, it's a lot. Not a lot. Like it's not like I went through a whole bunch of stuff. I will always say that I made the bed that I was lying in, and Jesus just saved me from it. I grew up in church my whole life. I remember being in church from like the age of 1 to like now. However, I had a lot of fallouts and just a lot of major fallouts throughout my path to getting to where I am now. I think the main thing for me was I always kind of had a feeling that God had big plans for me.
I believe it.
And I didn't want that. So it sounds strange for you to know that oh, there's big plans for your life, and you're just like, I don't want your plans, God. I want my own plans. I want to do my thing. Growing up, I, you know, I think it was a little egotistical. You know, you can ask my coworkers. I do have a big ego. But it's just a lot of the things I wanted in my life was just because I wanted people to praise me. So, you know, you grow up, you're like, oh, I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a football player. I want to be a baseball player. I just want to be on TV. I want people to look at me and just be
recognized.
Yeah. Even there was one time in college, a little stint. I was like, you know what? I think I want to be a model.
Hey.
And, you know, started working out. Well, I was already working out, but I started working out differently just so I could really be aesthetically pleasing. But all of that stuff was not in the cards. I even got into coaching for the reason of recognition. You know, I wanted to be known as the best coach ever. But then, you know, when you give your total submission to God, He kind of takes over your plans and He makes them so much better than you ever could imagine. So my testimony kind of starts from like the age of 4. From the age of 4, I had an incident at preschool where I was playing with the dolls inappropriately. Yeah. So my whole life, the one thing that's always been my problem was always sex. It got even worse in middle school. Middle school is always the breeding ground for bad habits. You know, you just hear your friends talking about stuff, and you're like, "Oh, what's that? What's that?"
Yeah.
And that's where I think 14, I stumbled into a pornography addiction that I never thought was going to be an addiction. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad in middle school, in high school. It wasn't until college where it got worse because I negotiated with my parents. I wanted to go to Cal State East Bay, and my parents were like, "Do us a favor and just stay closer to home." And I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll stay closer to home if you let me move out." And so I got the opportunity to move out. So with that opportunity to move out, I was now by myself. Nobody to control me, nobody to tell me what to do. And I always remember, my parents are amazing people. I love them to death. And my dad was an alcoholic. He's a recovering alcoholic now. He's been sober for like 12 years, probably a couple slip-ups, but
were they born here or?
Oh, my parents were born in Nigeria. Both of them. So in Nigeria, kids, you're drinking from like age 13.
Damn.
Wow.
To now.
I thought Mexico was like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I know about Mexico.
Cultures.
I have a lot of students who will be like, "Oh, yeah, my parents let me drink at like 12. And I was like, "You're not supposed to tell me these things." And then my mom's just a workaholic. Love her to death, but she just worked so much.
Yeah.
So a lot of alone time, as you see, and that's how I stumbled into the things that I stumbled into.
So you're the only kid?
I have an older half sister,
okay.
who is basically my real sister. She is my real sister, and then 2 younger brothers.
Okay.
And so I always felt like I was the example I needed to be, carrying myself as the example.
Yeah.
At the same time as having this addiction, I also was addicted to being a people pleaser or pleasing people of the world. And so this made itself even more prevalent in college because all of high school, never drank. When you grow, growing up with an alcoholic dad, you're just like, "Oh, I hate alcohol."
Yeah.
But I was so easily influenced that I was just like, "Oh, my friends are drinking. Oh, I'll give it a try." And it's so weird. I drank the summer after my senior year, and I didn't feel different. I must have not gotten really drunk because the first day of college, I get super drunk, and I was like a crazy person, like a maniac. Not like in a bad way, but kind of like I made myself the star of the party.
Yeah.
which all through college, I just regret all of it just because it's like I was saying some wildly inappropriate things to women. I was making a fool of myself, but that's what people. That's the only. I felt like that was the only reason why people wanted me to drink was just because they're like, "Oh yeah, you're fun when you're drunk."
Like entertainment for themselves.
Entertainment for themselves, and I was okay with being the clown at that point because it gave me the recognition that I kind of was looking for. Throughout this process, like I never stopped going to church, and so which made it worse because now I was looking like a false prophet. I was, going to church. I still remember the first time I got really drunk in that college day is I was in the hallway of the apartment complex crying, saying God's never gonna forgive me for this. God's never gonna love me. And my best friend was just there comforting me, and he's just like, "You're just drunk. You're fine." And it was just bad. I made so many regrettable mistakes in college. But most of it was just so I could fulfill this ego inside of me or this thing inside of me because I wanted to be the center of attention. So now but the alcohol never was an issue. I could always stop myself and just go away. But I always reference to the Bible. There's a reason why the Lord tells you to flee from sexual sin because it's like, that's a part of your body. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to say like which one's better or which one's harder to quit, but the one thing about like tobacco, drugs, alcohol, that's different from a pornography addiction or an addiction just to sex is that you're violating yourself and you can't get away from your own body. You can't avoid yourself because at some point or another, you're going to go to sleep. You're going to be in your room by yourself trying to go to sleep and you're like itching and you're having like it's like you're on drugs basically. And I remember always just thinking like, why couldn't I just be addicted to something different? Why do I have to have this issue? Why is this my issue? But it just got worse from there on. I think at 19, like I was so down bad. I like solicited my first prostitute. And this is after my senior year of making a promise of like staying pure till marriage. But I created my own sense of the word pure. And I only said that, oh, okay, as long as I'm not, doing the deed, the official deed, I'm fine. Yeah. And so I would try to find I was always a line stepper for when it came to Christianity. I was always like, how much can I do before it's a sin? Never was it, let me avoid this because that's what the Bible tells you. It was always like, what can I do? Because I just wanted to live in the world and live in the world and I wanted to live for God at the same time. But I can't serve two masters.
Yeah.
You can only serve one. And so 19, that's happening. And this is a problem all the way till I'm probably 21. But at 21, I started, getting with women who weren't my wife. And I was obviously indulging in things that I shouldn't have been indulging in. I end up meeting my fiance, not meeting my fiance, I end up getting with my fiance now at 21, after a bad breakup. And I kind of was just using her because at that time I was just like, I just need somebody to take the hurt away. But at the same time, when I did that, I was just like, I can't do that to her. I'm going to really commit myself to her. We dated for a while. And I break up with her before our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And the reason was because I wanted to go be a hoe. I don't know if you can say that on the podcast, can we?
That was fun.
All right.
That's probably the correct terminology for today's culture or era. I mean, if that's what you were feeling.
No, that was exactly the reason, and I still can see the look on her face because it was the worst feeling in the world because she was so devastated, and I was, you know, I was in such a selfish mentality, and I was in a selfish mentality from the jump, like from birth to like till I found God, till I re-found God, because I've met God multiple times, but I just ignored his requests all the time. During that year, we were broken up. We broke up for a whole year, and during that whole year, I was still struggling. But at the same time, I wasn't struggling with the same things as before. I was just like, you know what? I kind of was feeling myself. I'm like, I'm not ugly. You know, I can get girls, and so I was on Tinder like crazy, just swiping
Let's
right,
do it.
swiping right on everybody.
Boy.
I mean, did it actually work? Because it didn't work for me.
Oh, it worked. It worked. It worked pretty well.
My boy Izzy was faithful though. He
No, I'm
said,
kidding.
you know, he got the one.
Yeah.
Good. I was not getting the ones. I was getting. I was just. I honestly, I look back on it, and I was just getting really broken girls and people that, you know, I could have. Now looking back on it, girls that I could have poured the spirit, like poured the Holy Spirit on, and probably transformed lives. And I ended up, you know, speaking a different type of ministry to them, a ministry of that was of the darkness of the world, being just purely selfish, trying to just get what I want. And it's funny, I just read Leviticus 20 today, and it was talking about, you know, how your sexuality and your spirit are connected. It's like and it's basically saying like don't use people for your own gain. And that whole year was everything I was doing was just using people for my own gain. And yeah, it was bad. Throughout college, that was going on, and I kind of backtrack a little bit because to mask the pain that I was going through, just having this addiction, because I was so upset. I didn't want to be addicted anymore. I was done with it. And I was even when I was with my fiance at the time, who was my girlfriend, or whether we were with each other or not, I was just always just like super upset at myself because I was always failing. I was praying and it wasn't working, and I was just like, what can I do? And I started doing drugs because I found a drug that made me feel like a normal person finally. It gave me this false reality of, oh, I'm good.
Was it like prescribed or was it?
I tried to get it prescribed.
Was it self-prescribed?
Yeah, it was self-prescribed. It's college, so I was taking it. I used it for studying. It was Adderall, ADHD pills. I used it for studying at first, but then I started slowly like abusing it. And I had my roommates and good best friends at the time. They were just like, "I think you're doing it a little too much," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm good." But I was ready to go down a really bad path because like I was trying anything just to make sure I could. One, the drugs helped me cope with what I was going through. Two, the drugs helped me look. I felt like it made me look cooler for people, and so I was just like, but like, I don't know. It was so stupid now thinking back. But like, I would experiment with anything just to look cool and just to mask pain. Cocaine, marijuana, Percocets, a lot of stuff. And it was just at parties, going to parties just to do something, find something. And no one could, but like, and it's funny because when I opened up about my addiction, everyone was just like, I didn't even know you were going through that. I'm just like, yeah, because I try to hide it because I didn't want no one to know. You know, I would be locked in my room for hours because I'm just like, you know, I'm pouring in or I'm high and I don't want my roommates to know. Or being high in front of my roommates wasn't a problem. It was just, I was just trying to hide my addiction, the pornography addiction. I was just trying to hide that, you know. In society, it's kind of cool. It's kind of, everyone's open about their use of porn. But for me, I was open, but like, at the same time, I was just trying to I was trying to get more and more, and it was just not good. Experimented with chat rooms and all that stuff, and it was just bad, really bad. So it kind of fast forwards me to I think I'm 24 at the time. After I graduate college, I get a job as a teacher. I get back with my fiance. I don't know how I won her back, but I won her back, and she knew about all my issues even before we broke up. But I made a promise to her. I was like, I'm not gonna be the same person as I was before. And at this point, I kind of was off the addiction as much. The drugs stopped because I feel like everyone has their vices.
Were you still going to church through like all this, or was it like on and off?
On and off, on and off. I was in, out.
Was it like your family goes to church?
My mom is super, super. She's a Jesus fanatic.
For sure. So you were like making a church with her.
Make it to church. My dad's a good believer,
go.
but he goes. But my mom's just like that's the person who's like she showed me the way because like the commitment she has to God is like crazy. And a lot of the things I just saw out of her, well, I just was like, yeah, I'm not trying to be like that. I'm not trying to be like that.
Do you feel like that was a way to like, hide also like what you were doing at the moment? It was like maybe if people see like I go to church, they won't think of me a certain way, or was it just for your family kind of cover up kind of thing?
Honestly, I don't know. It's me and God have this relationship where I can hear his voice so clearly and so well for most of the time. And even in those periods, it's always funny because whenever I always say like the weirdest thing about my addiction was whenever I was, searching for stuff, I would always hear a hymn in my back of my head.
Like a song,
any type of Christian song you can think of, and I'm like, why is this song stuck in my head at this moment? Never throughout the day, but when I was getting ready, boom, just in my head, and I'm just like, why? And it's like, and it's just crazy because it's like throughout the whole process of my brokenness, he was always there. He didn't leave me. He never left me. He never left me once. Even when I was turning my back on him and I was like, God, I don't want anything to do with you. I want to be with my friends. I want to be with the world. I want to be doing all this stuff. I want to be doing some wild stuff. He was just like, okay.
I'm still here.
He's like, I'll be here when you're done. And so I ended up making another compound mistakes. I used my fiance and I moved her in with me when I was working in Kalinga because I was like, as long as I kind of used her as like a security guard. If she's here, I can indulge in fornication with her, and that takes away the sin of this. I don't know what kind of math I was doing in my head. Didn't even make sense. Doesn't make sense on any type of stance, biblically or worldly. But that was just the type of logic that was going in my head because I was just like, I'm trying to just stop this. This is the only thing I care about stopping. And didn't work. Whenever you try to do your own plans, it just never works.
For sure.
Because as soon as like she's mad at me, I was going to what my idol was at that time, which was the pornography. As soon as she was not in town or we were at home and she would go sleep at her house and I'd sleep at my house, I was going to my idol. And it's just like, no matter what, I could not escape this, and it was crazy. So COVID hits, and the year before COVID hits, because I was still stuck with it. That year was like literally the worst year of my life, and that's why I wore this because that was the same year, Kobe dies. Really hurt me, like tremendously. A month later, I get a call from my boss at the school I was at, and they told me I'm being let go. They're not bringing me back. And then the next month, COVID happens. I'm starting this whole AAU basketball team for the girls over there, and I was the first person to start this AAU for this town for the girls basketball. But our season never got to happen because COVID happened. Damn. And it was terrible. I was just like, oh But COVID was literally such a blessing because I think the only way I would was running away from my problems. So I would keep myself tremendously busy. Basketball, training, working out, doing other stuff. So I was not, so I'd be distracted from what the root issue was. And it's like, you can't continue to just run away from your issues. You know, you got to face them. And COVID made me face them because I was stuck at home. I can't go nowhere. I can't do nothing. January 4th, 2021, everything leading up to that week, I'm watching a lot of Christian TikTok and just looking at these things, and I was just like, and then shout out to Transformation Church with Pastor Michael Todd. His messages were really impactful for me. And I saw this. So on January 4th, they were doing this 21 days of fasting, and they were saying, and so I was trying to decide what I was going to fast from. And I was like, I want to stop this addiction. I want it to be done today. And on January 4th, I said, God, I'm giving everything to you. And I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, this is not what I want. And the next day, it may sound like, and the thing is, it sounds so crazy, but like, I was so different. I just didn't feel it anymore. I didn't feel the urge. I didn't feel the pull. I didn't feel the necessity to watch porn anymore. I was instantly cured. And I was just like, and the one thing I did after I made that prayer was I gave up secular music. That's the only thing I did. I didn't do anything else. But it made so much, and I started reading my Bible more, and I started praying more. But like, I didn't realize that, like, I love rap music, I love rock music, I love a lot of the music I used to listen to, but it's just, I don't love them more than I love God. I don't love them more than I love Jesus. And I didn't even know, like, a lot of the music I was listening to was really just impacting me. You know, I'm a big Playboi Carti fan. If you know who that is, he talks about sex a lot in his music, and now he's on like some demonic stuff, and it's just like, nah, I'm off of that.
And I remember I saw, at least it was a couple of my coworkers at the time when I worked at Toyota. They were like at a Playboi Carti, and the videos that they would post on their Instagram were like, "Who are you? You're not the guy I see at work."
Exactly.
And like, they were going off, tongues out, and like their eyes wide open, like they were on something. And I'm like, "Oh no!" Like, and I'd see them at work, and I'm like, "What was that about?" You're like not that person, but that's what music can do.
Exactly. I think I saw on like I don't know if it was Transformation Church, but I don't think it was Michael Todd. It was somebody, one of his guest speakers, and he was just like, what do you do at a concert? You put your hands up like this, the national, like the signal for surrender. You know, we do this to the Lord, and they're like, put your hands up, and you're like this. You know, same thing. It's like you're over here surrendering yourself to the Lord, to them, to their music, to their music. And so once I broke that stronghold, I just started, like, I don't know. My whole life I was like, oh, Christian music, Christian rap, Christian hip hop. That's some lame stuff. I'm not trying to listen to that. You know, what are they gonna be rapping about? These are some weak, lame rappers.
I felt the same way.
Z, that is for you. I'm scared.
No, honestly, he's one of the people that changes the game though for rap.
For me,
for myself, 408Z is now a member of our church, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because we had a podcast with him last time, and now he's a member of our church.
He was actually the first one.
Yeah, and then there's people like, I don't know if you listen to Hovey. Like, another game changer in the rap game that, for me, it's like, that's like, he mentions God in his music, but it's also like appealing. Like, he actually puts like time to his music.
Yeah.
But,
I think artist that really helped me was this artist named Henrik. He's it's this redhead white guy, and he does like kind of like hip hopish music and kind of like rockish music, but like he had this one album that just spoke straight to my soul, and I was just like, and it helped. It helped because I'm a person who I can repeat music over and over. Caleb Gordon, he's amazing, and his music was helpful because it was just a helpful, healthy supplement to the music I was listening to at that.
He did a remix to that First Class by what's that rapper name? Jack Harlow. It was like, God can put you in first class, and it was a good remix.
It was a great remix.
I was like, that's way better than what is his name was singing. But
it was. Yeah. It was. I think it's just important for people just to know, like, there's a reason why the Bible talks about your ears being like your eyes being like vessels to your soul, and it's like be mindful of the things you watch and mindful of the things you're listening to, because you don't know how they're negatively affecting your spirit, and whatever's dwelling in your spirit, you act out in real life.
Yeah. And
so,
all right, but you touched a lot of topics that I feel like a lot of people
can relate to. Yeah,
I go through, but they're not willing to speak up because it might sound bad.
The spirit of shame.
Like something you were saying that one of my friends she went through that. She was like, my plans is not aligning with God's plan. I feel like I personally haven't gone through that. I've always, obviously I went astray and all that, but I've always tried to do God's will. But what should we? Okay, my question is, how do you handle that? Like, how were you willing to surrender to your own dreams, your goals? Because sometimes we want to pursue something, but guys, like, no, that's not the way I want it for you. And as a Christian, we need to surrender completely. But I understand those people are like, man, I just want to be, like a basketball player. But guys, like, no, I'm calling you to be a preacher.
That's a great question. I think throughout my process, because I think we had Infusion School of Ministry, Supernatural Ministry come, and that day was super powerful to me because it was the first day I ever passed out from the Spirit, and I was just like,
those are always great.
Oh, I know. I see my mom pass out in church so many times, and I was just embarrassed the whole time. So for it to finally happen to me, and I was just like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, you know what? That's not that bad. Not that bad. But that day was impactful because I was dealing with the thing of, is basketball really what I'm supposed to be doing, or am I supposed to give up everything and go to God? And I had these ideas of trying to incorporate God into sports ministry and just doing something like that. And I'm dealing with this because, I have African parents who are first generation. So their sole mindset was obviously for me to be well off financially, mostly. My parents wanted me to be a nurse when I got into college.
Hey,
I took anatomy and I didn't pass the class. I'll tell you that. So I was just like, bro, this nursing stuff's not for me. Worked at a school for like a year, and I was just like, bro, yeah, I need to do this. We have to just remember, and so that day of supernatural ministry, this lady is speaking prophetic words to me, and she says, I give you permission for that thing that you are dealing with, that you want to do and want to pursue. And it's just a reminder that the passions that we have and all the things that we love, like the passions, the stuff that we want to pursue, God's the one who gave them to us. Like, they didn't come from out of nowhere. God has to love sports because that's why I love sports. God has to love music. That's why we love music. A lot of people love music. There's things of this world that people just, you can use anything in the world to give him glory. That's what I realized that. And that's what he kind of like was just saying to me, like, you can do anything you want that's going to give me glory. Just trust me with your plans. I seen this meme on Twitter toxic place. I don't recommend going there if you're.
I don't have Twitter. I already know.
I don't recommend it. But it was this meme of like it said like God's your plans, and it's like a straight line to this path, and then it's like God's plans, and it's like going through all these obstacles, and it's like someone this like but probably atheist. I don't know. I don't want to judge him and ask him, or judge him for what he is, but he's just like, this is crazy. I can make better plans than God because it's like it's just going in a straight line, but like in reality, your plans only get you from here to here if you follow your path, and you're always going to stumble on that short little path. God's plans may be like full of loops and valleys and struggles, but it literally takes you from here to here, which is such a big, tremendous difference. You're not gonna stop at a place that's not meant for you. You're gonna be going to to your promised land, your version of the promised land.
Yeah, like I feel like you were saying, things that last longer has to go through the fire. Like the iron has to go through that in order to be, well formed and can endure more. Like let's say, if they just make it, and just they don't refine it, it won't last long.
Yeah, it's brittle.
No, it won't. And so another part of your question, like how dealing with it was, Jesus just saved me from something that I was struggling with for 12, 14 years. I was just like, I had control of myself for 26 years. And where to lead me to, it led me to getting fired. It led me to moving up to a place that I didn't even get hired anywhere in the Valley or Southern California. Up here was my only option. So I'm moving to a place that I don't know anybody. And it left me alone. Even though I had my fiance with me, I just felt so alone. I felt so broken. And that's what happens when you take control of your life. You're going to always be broken. Like some of my favorite musical artists like Juice WRLD, XXX Tentacion, and others, Tupac, those three people have something in common. They're all not with us anymore. You have Tupac, such a smart guy, but couldn't get himself out of the hood stuff.
Yeah.
And ends up taking his life. Juice WRLD, amazing artist.
Couldn't get out the drugs.
He could not get out of drugs, and it's like, doesn't matter what you're trying to do in your plan. We are all empty and broken without God.
Yeah,
I see it in so many kids. So many kids. I first started teaching substitute teaching in Fresno, and in Fresno it's just devastation for a lot of kids because of all the gang violence, and all you see is broken kids who don't have parents, who are missing a parent, who are homeless, or just broken kids who turn to drugs and alcohol and all this other stuff and sex because that's what the world has to offer you. There's a lot of things the world offers you, and there's only one thing God offers you. But the one thing God offers you literally makes you feel whole. The other things that the world offers you, you feel whole for 5 seconds. Then you're back to feeling broken, and then you feel worse after the fact. And I always will say, like, my testimony, obviously it was avoidable, but it was so necessary for me. Because if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be able to the ministry or the relatability that I'm able to have with people now would not have happened. I remember at like 6 years old, I was like in church, and this former gangbanger comes in here, and he's talking about how he seeing God, and he was like, God transformed his life, and it was crazy. Only thing I could think of was like, that's so unfair because I wish I could see God. I was so envious. And I always will say, like, that day, God was like, okay, you want to go through a roller coaster? I'll put you through a roller coaster. And he put me through a roller coaster, and it's so much better. Like, I was so afraid to share my testimony on camera just because like I had so much shame with it. But shame is a tactic used by the devil to keep you down.
Yeah.
Your testimony, we have no idea what our testimony is going to mean to somebody else.
Yeah.
Even if, like I always say, even if I can impact one life through my lifetime, it's a success. just one person transformed to God, just from my words. That's a successful life.
What would you say to, like, a younger generation that maybe is going through this right now, and they feel like they have nobody to turn to, but there's like a loop, like a cycle for them too.
So my road to recovery was just you have to have a support system. The Bible talks about having people you can trust, having people you can talk to. I had two of my closest friends. My friend Steven Martinez, he's another teacher. He's a principal down at the school I got fired at.
Yeah.
He wasn't the principal when I got fired, or else I'd keep my job.
For
But
sure.
he's a principal over there, and my other friend Audrey Raphael, he's a musician, and they're not really they're believers, but not like hardcore believers, not fully into the faith.
Yeah.
But they're trustworthy. I was able to talk to them about my issues. I was able to whenever I was feeling down and I was like really tempted, I would just call them, and one of them answered. And whenever they answered, they'd be on the phone with me for hours, just helping me get through it. And it's like, we're not meant to get through stuff alone.
Yeah.
That's why God gives you community. That's why God gives you people, because we're supposed to help uplift each other.
Yeah.
And that's why Jesus died for us, to absolve us of those sins. And and like he says to the woman who almost got stoned, he's like, is anyone here to condemn you? And he's like, nor, after everyone fled, and he's like, nor will I. Now go and sin no more. And that's the part of go and sin no more is you have to change. I didn't realize, after all my prayers, because I prayed for forgiveness and I prayed for all those things all the time after I messed up. But the difference is, how are you going to change your lifestyle after you make that prayer? Because God can't change. He can take away the problem. And yeah, like that same feeling of being cured, I've had it before. But I went back to it because I was just like, this is my idol. Like, but when you're fully devoted to God, you're going to actually change your lifestyle. The music change is something that, I listen to worldly music maybe probably less than a handful of times. Like I can count probably like 3 or 4 times on my finger in a year. That's in a year, and that's like mostly accidental probably. Maybe sometimes I just do it just so I'm like, yeah, let me listen to this again. But like, it's not something I desire to listen to, because I just know that with this lifestyle change, it comes a lot.
Yeah.
You have to carry your cross, and I'm ready to carry it every day.
Yeah, you were saying that you were a teacher, and you were trying to have be a coach, and have your faith, kind of mix it together. How's it been with this whole roller coaster of people are attacking the schools, like, oh, they shouldn't have faith, you shouldn't talk about religion, you shouldn't talk about this mentality, but yet you have people that want to take into like becoming a law that you institute kids with sexuality. See, so that my question is, I feel like we are forcing our kids to pornography, because you opening their minds into sexuality since elementary school. I feel like in that moment, like I personally didn't thought about sex until like I went to middle school. And I feel like nowadays that people are like, oh no, just teach them about if they feel like they want to be a woman, or they want to be a boy. And I feel like that's opening doors like way younger, because now they're able to be like, oh, I didn't know about this, I didn't know about that. So how is your faith being impacted as being a teacher? That's my question. Or how have you been able to stay afloat and not
Be consumed by trends.
yeah, exactly, not be consumed with all this trend that's going on?
For me personally, it's like it doesn't impact me, because once you get healed from God, like it's so different. You just can't go back to what the world has to offer, and you're just like,
Yeah.
nah, I can't go back. But in terms of your question, like, I started a Jesus club at my school last year. Right now we're looking for like a lead. I'm looking for a leader before I started again. But last year, like about half of the kids in my class were trans, like either gay, lesbian, transgender, or something,
Yeah.
or like
What age group are they?
middle school. So 8th grade, it was all 8th graders, and
Say that again.
you know, and I think, and I had one really devout Christian kid who was in that, or well, obviously my leader, and then another kid who was really super Christian, and he was just like,
Yeah.
he's like, I don't think these people take it serious, and I was like, you know what, our job isn't. I said, my job isn't to transform them because I don't have that power.
No.
Yeah.
You know, my job is to show them Jesus so so his power can help them. You know,
Yeah, I mean, the Bible says, like some plants, some like cultivates it, but at the end, what makes it grow is God. It's only God can.
and
Change.
so like for me, I just want to show the love of Jesus to all my students, regardless of who they are and what they feel like, and just want them to know that, like, the same love that I show them is the same love that is nothing compared to the love that Jesus has for them. Like I'll do it. I'll do a lot for my students. I try to do a lot for my students, regardless of what orientation or gender they are, or how they feel about themselves. I just always want them to know that I love them. That I feel like
which is good, bro. Because I feel like as Christians, we have this stigma or this image of we hate all people that don't think the same way as us. And I feel like love is the best answer or solution to hate. People may say like, oh, he's a Christian, he hates you. But the moment you're like, I'm Christian, but I still love you no matter what, you are like going through the way you feel, the way the way you think or whatever. Like, I still love you. My job or our job as Christian is to love and show compassion and try to lead them. But at the end, is we're not gonna force them, and that's the best thing is like you were saying. Go like the extra mile for your students. That's good, bro.
when it comes, and I always still say when it comes to that, like if God wanted us to have to be with him, we don't think he would do it already. Like he would make us, if we wanted to be mindless zombies, he would make us mindless zombies for him. But like he put that tree in the Garden of Eden so that they had choices. And even though there was 1,000 more trees that would have gave them life, there was only one tree that wouldn't. Ultimately, it's not it's not like he didn't tempt them with that one tree. Like everyone thinks, oh, the tree was just in the middle of the garden. Like the tree could have just been in the left side of the garden. It's not like it wasn't like a centerpiece. Like, oh yeah, here is the tree that I'm just gonna let you.
The most beautiful big.
The most beautiful tree out of all of them. Nothing was special about the tree. The only thing that made it tempting was the fact that it was different from all the others.
And of course, the serpents thing.
And then the devil.
Be like him, but little did they know, we were already made in his image.
Exactly. And the thing is, like so with all the stuff that's going on in the world, especially with the kids, and everything's a choice, and I want them to choose Jesus. I don't want to present it in a way where it seems like it's forced. I always want to present it in a way where it's like, no, this was my, like, why don't you get drunk anymore? Because I got Jesus. Like I'll take a sip, but like I'm not gonna do more than that. I'm not gonna do more than I have to, because that's not who I am anymore. Why don't you watch this show anymore? Because I got Jesus. I don't need it. I don't need to watch this show. Especially if I know it's not good for me, I just won't. So when it comes to a lot of things with my students, I just like I'm willing to lose my job to pray for a kid if I have to, because ultimately, I if he tells me to pray for somebody, I'll do it. And if I lose my job, I know it's in his will. Yeah. And if it's in his will, that means he's gonna take care of me after, regardless if I struggle or get kicked out, get evicted. If I'm homeless for like 3-6 months, maybe even 3 years.
Bro, we got you. You got
Thank you.
You know what I always kind of like what I always
You got
struggled
this
with
catch right now. I'm sorry, bro.
in school, I always struggled because I was always kind of like a conservative growing up, and I always struggled with teachers trying to change that view for me, especially in a highly democratic state like California. They wanted to tell me like what I was supposed to, be sided with. You get to, I'm assuming you get to be in fellowship with these teachers. Do they know you're Christian? And if so, like, what are their views? Like,
I never hide my views. I never hide who I am. Like,
yeah,
I will always let them know God is my number one. Like I tell teachers all the time, I'll pray for you when they're going through stuff, because it's like, it's a nice thing to do.
yeah,
I'm kind of on the opposite end. I grew up super democratic, but I hate politics so much because I find myself just hating the other side instead of, and it's so unworldly of me. I think the closer I got to God, the more I kind of I'm just in the middle.
yeah.
I've kind of always been in the middle, but like I'm more in the middle now than I ever was.
It all comes down, and I'm not saying like you have to be political, but it all
Yeah.
comes down to like what's morally right. And in your views with God, it shouldn't be like I'm with the right, I'm with the left. It should be like what is pleasing God, what is good for the people. And there's people that for that reason they go independent, and that's fine. Like they've found middle ground because they don't want to argue
Yeah.
with both sides.
Yeah.
And there's no point in arguing with people that don't want to change anything. They just want their version to be said. But yeah, like I always struggle with that, and they always wanted to change my points of views because, like I was always for like pro life and stuff like that. And it's great that you're like I'm willing to like lose my job just to pray for this person, even if it goes against like the views of what school should look like. And we need more teachers like that.
I think it goes back to what you said earlier. Like I'm not going to force Jesus on a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always will say I don't force my political views on somebody.
Yeah.
If I'll say something if it's like something that's just morally incorrect,
Yeah.
like yeah, I'll say something, but like other than that, it's just like politically standing. Like a kid asked me, "What do you feel about the abortion laws?" I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
I'm not getting an abortion, so. But like, so I don't really. I told him like I align with self with God. So if he doesn't like him, I don't like him. So, it is what it is
Comes
for
down
me.
to that, yeah.
But like, I just don't get myself hyped up into it. Like the law changed, I was just like, I feel bad for those who feel like they need to do it. Because I was in that spot before. I remember being in a position where I was just like, oh no, I think you're like, I was like, oh baby, I think you're pregnant. Like we can't have this baby. Let's go get one. I've been in that position, and it's just like so. But like to understand that, it is what it is. Everyone has a choice of what they're gonna do. I understand both sides of why, but I won't make that choice for somebody. I won't force my opinion on somebody because my opinion shouldn't. I always will live by the philosophy that a person's opinion should not matter to me. I only serve one opinion, and it's the opinion of God.
Yeah.
He's the only only audience that I thrive to please at this point of my life.
Yeah. I like that for sure. I don't know how much time we have left. My phone died.
5 minutes.
For sure. So I mean, before we wrap up, is there anything you want to touch bases? For like I said, this is all for like the younger generation. And I mean, we already touched bases on what God can do for their life. Is there anything you would say to the people in the church? Because I feel like there's a taboo on talking about these things. Like, should we have more open discussions about these things to the younger generation? And if so, like, where would we start? What would be the starting point for that?
Honestly, like, that's a hard question. The thing I would just say is, because it's not like throughout my growing up, I didn't have people talking to me about the stuff that I was doing. Like, I knew having sex before marriage was a sin. You know, I think the thing is, the thing growing up for a lot of people is just like, especially kids growing up in the church, is just we have to let kids make the decision for themselves. It's like me growing up as a Raider fan. My dad's a Saints fan. My dad's a Saints fan. I made the choice to be a Raider fan.
Yeah.
Terrible choice, but a choice that nonetheless.
Okay, never mind. I'm out.
We just need to let kids make the choices for themselves. And people, everyone's gonna mess up. People are going to make mistakes. As long as we're cautiously advising them, along the way. But to completely try to like prevent them from making that mistake, they're gonna make the mistake. They're gonna feel like, I think the biggest part, because I have so many kids who grew up in Catholic school who hate God now, who don't even want to go to church, because it's just like their experience was just so bad. And it's just like, we have to just understand, and I think the church needs to understand, like Christian schools, Catholic schools, they're all great. But if you're going to force religion on anybody, you're going to force love that's not genuine on anybody, no one's going to accept it. The true way to bring someone to Christ is to show them genuine love and to let them make the choice on their own. God did not force Adam and Eve to eat the apple. He didn't force the Israelites to sin against him.
True.
He just let them make the mistake themselves. And if we do everything like God does, we'll be good.
Consequences came either way.
Consequences come either way, positive or negative, though.
Yeah, for sure.
We just want to thank you.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, honestly, thank you for being like vulnerable, because I don't think it's easy especially for a man to come out and just tell you like, this was who I was, and this is what God's done for me. And I think you're one of the first ones to come on the podcast and be like, straight up, like, this is what I went through. And that's pretty bold, and I feel like this is going to impact a lot of youth,
especially with pornography. I feel like pornography is just like number one.
Last month or a month ago, we were trying to shoot like this pornography podcast, and all these mishaps from like not pushing the record button. I feel like it all led up to this. Like, this is like a platform for you to like talk about what you went through and like what God rescued you from. And now I'm thankful that that other podcast, all those mishaps,
Yeah, because I mean, some people might say, like, why is pornography bad? I mean, you're not acting on it, you're not indulging into it, but that is the thing that you just keep wanting more. And the same way as like you were saying, it's a drug that starts with a little like small, sex act, but then you're like, then after that you're just watching hardcore, a woman getting beat up, raped and all that. And then we start asking, ourselves, why are men, raping women? Like, why are men so like acting so like violent? It's just like you say, music, all these things that are just coming up. Is just, that's what it's leading towards, And as a society, we are partaking and be like that. It's okay for people. Like, if you go to a school or a doctor, like, oh, is masturbation bad? Like, no, it's actually good for you. But little did I know that it's, like you said, it's a door to our soul, and if we're feeding all that into ourselves, we can be good, but at the end, we're not solving the what's inside. So we can stop doing certain things, but if we don't address what's inside of us, we will always
be broken.
Exactly go back to the root, because we haven't fixed the root. And that's what God was like. Before it was just like, if you act it, that's a sin. But God was like, no, I'm gonna go further. If you see a woman, like you desire a woman, then you're already sinning, because He's trying to get into the root that's inside of us. The desire of I want to have sex with that person. That's the root, and that's what God was like. You need to address the root of like what's causing that, because if you don't address it, you might stop for maybe a year, but eventually you're gonna go back because it's still inside of you.
Exactly.
So I feel like it's pornography. It's hurting a lot of guys, and now it's even girls are are up there with the guys, and it's a shameful topic, but it's a must discuss. Like we have to speak about this more often at churches because we can prevent it if people can see how damaging it is. Because I feel like if we all get to like sit down and share like every experience we had, it's just I sometimes I'm like I wish I would never gone to that class because after that I was never the same. I never looked woman the same, and it's just so damaging. But I feel like it'll be maybe another podcast with Coach L.
For sure, yeah.
I'm down. I'm
all
down.
the time, yeah. Well, to the listener, I just want to say, if you're struggling with this, get some help. Get somebody that you can confide in.
Yeah.
And, just so that, you're not bound to this anymore. And it doesn't even have to be just pornography. If you're, on drugs, whatever it is, I feel like, don't be silent. Don't feel that
we understand what you're feeling.
Yeah, like you're human, we're all bound to this, this flesh, and there's desires that maybe you're going through at a young age, teenagers, and you feel like maybe maybe they feel like nobody knows what I'm going through. They fall into that mentality, but there's people out there willing to listen and get some help. So I encourage you guys. Let's pray out real quick, and then thank you, bro, for being here. Father God, thank you for this podcast. Thank you for allowing us to discuss these topics, Father God, that should be discussed more often with the youth, with the church, Father God, in the world. Lord, we just pray for anybody dealing with any addictions right now, Lord. We pray that, every stronghold will be broken in their life, Father God, and they can just turn to you, Father God, and need nothing else but you, Jesus. And I just pray, Lord, for our school systems, Lord. We have to go against the tide, Father God, in these school systems, Lord. But I just pray, Lord, that, we can get you back in the school systems, Lord, and fight for what's right, Lord, and let people know that Jesus, who Jesus is, and how he loves us. And I just thank you, Lord, for this time being. I pray for anybody watching this, Lord, that may impact the viewer, the listener, Father God. In Jesus' name I pray.
Amen.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Tune in for our future episodes. Don't forget to like, subscribe.
And if you guys haven't heard the other episodes, season 1 was dope. Or summer edition, it was dope. So, we all have content. So, subscribe, share your abuelitas, your tios or whatever. And, just keep sharing.
Yeah, right on. Thanks for listening.